As we know, lust is built into society and our culture. It is everywhere we look. It's in social media posts on Instagram, it's on Pinterest, it's on pornography, rap songs, songs in general. It's imprinted in our brain to always be lustful. But my take isn't that we shouldn't be lustful, even though that's a whole different conversation in its own. That's not what I'm talking about now. A question that I pondered upon is, what would life look like without that stimulation, without that sudden sexual urge, or that almost marketing to indulge in that, everywhere around us? What if that wasn't a currency? What if sex was no longer what it was? What if we had no desire for that? What would life look like? So for starters, it's very interesting because things will look very different in life. You know, a lot of people will become less distracted, more deliberate with their actions, surprisingly less impulse control. I mean, say unsurprisingly, but let's just say in a vein where you can still indulge in it, but you don't have the urges anymore. So for this type of scenario, I conducted two parallel universes, okay? One parallel universe being that sex still exists, but without lust. And the other parallel being that no one desires sex at all. No lust, no nothing, no stimulation, anything. So for parallel one, in this world, sex would be more deliberate, man. It'll be more intentional. It'll be more connecting with the person instead of being a currency. It will be a new form of love, you know? People could still, in this world, choose to have sex for intimacy, bonding, and reproduction, but it will have less of a craving to do it because in our system, it is so difficult for us not to have sex. So a scenario can be like when you and your partner are having an intimate moment, you don't have that craving of wanting to be inside of each other, but instead you guys just want to be with each other. A kiss could feel the same as being in one another. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's interesting. There's that craving of needing to be in that person is no longer a thing. Same could be said about when you're by yourself, self-stimulation. It's no more a thing. You don't feel the need to indulge. It's still there. You can still go crazy if you want to, but the feeling isn't as intense as it was before. Instead, now sex is viewed as something that you can connect with another person, not as feel good, suffer later type of thing. It will make relationships feel more steadier, less chaotic, because desire would not constantly pull people off course. You know what I'm saying? So the main shift in this parallel is from impulse to intention, and that's a drastic shift. Sex would still matter, but it wouldn't be the same as it is today in this world that we live in. It would sit inside a broader framework of like care, concern, trust, deepening the relationship, purpose, etc. Now, on to parallel two of the universe, the two parallels that I made. In this parallel universe, no one desires sex or that sexual intimacy at all. No one wants to be inside of each other, point blank. Sex would stop being a normal part of a human's motivation. Romance, will still exist, obviously, but it will be less tangled around physical attraction. And, many people will build deep partnerships from this without any sexual expectation. And it would actually surprisingly cure a lot of things around the world, like how we're all centered around appearance, flirting, cheating, performance, all that stuff to get the opposite sex would disappear because we don't have that need to be in someone. I'm tired of saying that. That's kind of weird. And in this world, it will be less around sex and relationships, but more about communal activities and a partnership and a community building and also work basis. But also in this is reproduction. Since no one's having sex, there's no more reproduction. Humans die. And in my opinion, that doesn't sound so bad. The trade-off for it though is no chemistry, less intimacy, less intensity, less drive in general to pursue someone, And it also drops away a lot of things for everyone. It's kind of crazy because everyone will just like no one would actually be on this planet actually right now, if no one had the sexual desires. But the thing is, it will change the world completely, the way we view it. Because there will be a lot less of disgusting activity around the world and fuel our motivations with genuine motivations instead of trying to get something out of someone. On a biological standpoint, this also changes a lot of things for everything. For the first parallel universe, there's still sex, but without lust. And that still means that you can reproduce and have the same hormones, maybe at different hormonal changes. But in all, I think it will reduce dopamine driven cravings and strong reward center loops, And also as a society, I feel like it will be a lot better and more progressive because now we'll actually see each other as people instead of objects, And a lot of things will go down. And yeah, it will be less compulsive and more calm and more concentrated and, like I said, very intentional. Now, for the other parallel universe, that one's going to be a bit more interesting on a biological standpoint, because in this universe, it removes a major reproduction motivator maneuver. Like human reproduction would shift completely, like I said earlier, from desire-based behavior to purely planned or mechanical reproduction. Yeah. So our brain and our circuits that's running this whole shebang will be completely rewired from that one impulse of not wanting to do it. In fact, we'll have more impulse to not do it than actually indulge in it. It will affect our dopamine. It will affect estrogen. It will affect testosterone. It will affect different receptors like serotonin and trying to think. In all, removing lust rewires the brain completely, and that removes everything that society built around it. In conclusion, what I'm trying to get at is this is a very interesting take on what the world would look like. I think that the first parallel universe would be great to have in the society if we didn't build on the fact that sex is a currency and lust is a currency, and we made it more intentional and more energetic. Life could change. Society could change as a whole. And parallel two is fucking stupid. We need that shit. It's in our DNA, man. We animals, bro. We fucking animals in this bitch. But anyways, it's been your boy.